The wind tore through the abandoned lot behind Horizon Bank, carrying the smell of burnt tires and dust. A man in a baseball cap crouched beside a dumpster, cradling his little boy as rain splattered their thin jackets. We don't have anywhere to go," the man whispered, voice tight with exhaustion. "Please, just for tonight." A low, rumbling roar broke through the drizzle, the unmistakable sound of Harleys. Engines growled like wild beasts, echoing between the brick walls of shuttered shops. 20 bikes pulled into the lot, riders glinting under the grey sky. At the center was a woman on a black Harley, her cut emblazoned with a sleek logo instead of the usual skulls, a CEO biker known for her courage and leadership in the Women's Riding League. She dismounted slowly, rain dripping off her helmet. Her eyes scanned the man and the boy, landing on the signs of exhaustion, fear, and hopelessness. "Name's Cassie Torres," she said, voice calm but powerful. "You called for help." The man nodded, too stunned to speak. The little boy clung to his father, wide-eyed. Cassie gestured to her crew, 20 women bikers, all seasoned riders, all radiating strength and determination. They dismounted in unison, boots thudding against the wet asphalt. "You're not alone anymore," Cassie said. "Not while we're here." For a moment, time froze, the rain, the roar, the fear, everything suspended in a breathless pause. Yesterday, this single father, Marine veteran Logan Hayes, had sat in his nearly empty apartment, counting the last few dollars in his wallet. Bills stacked high, eviction notice pinned to the fridge, and no one he could turn to. That was when a small voice, his son's, asked, "Dad, can we just have a safe place tonight?" He didn't know it then, but the world had already heard. And help, in the form of 20 leather-clad, Harley-riding women, was about to arrive. The sky above Dry Creek hung heavy and grey, but the lot behind Horizon Bank had transformed into a scene of quiet authority. The rain softened to a drizzle, dripping off chrome and leather as 20 women bikers moved with precision and confidence. Their engines purred now, a steady heartbeat echoing in the empty streets. Cassie Torres, the leader, stood tall beside her Harley, helmet tucked under her arm. Her cut, sleek and black with silver accents, marked her as a CEO of a successful tech startup and a legendary biker, a rare combination that earned her both respect and curiosity. Behind her, the other women dismounted one by one. Some had scars on their knuckles from past fights, others had tattoos of their journeys, and all carried the quiet authority that only years of riding together could create. Logan Hayes, the Marine veteran, still huddled beside his son, eyes wide as he watched them approach. His muscles were tense, instinctive, but he was unarmed. This wasn't a threat he could fight, and the truth was, he didn't know how to fight for himself anymore. Cassie's eyes met his. "We got your message, Logan," she said gently. "We know what you're up against. And we don't leave people behind." Logan swallowed hard. I don't even know who you are. How did you find me?" Cassie smiled faintly, brushing rain from her cheek. "Word travels fast. When a man asks for shelter to protect his child, the right people hear it. That's all you need to know." One of the women, a tall rider with a braided ponytail, knelt down to meet Logan's son at eye level. "Hey there, buddy. We're not scary. I promise. We just want to help you." The little boy's wide eyes softened, curiosity overcoming fear. "You're real." "We're very real," Cassie said, chuckling softly. "And tonight, you'll have a safe place." The bikers moved with efficiency. Tarps were pulled from their gear bags to cover the boy's small frame. Blankets were laid down. Cassie had her laptop out, typing quickly. Even in the rain, she managed to organize resources, short-term housing, groceries, and even a small emergency fund for bills Logan hadn't been able to pay. Logan watched silently, the weight in his chest lifting ever so slightly. He had spent months feeling invisible, failing at everything he tried to do. And here were these women, strangers, strong, fearless, offering not judgment, but help. Cassie noticed his hesitation. "It's okay to accept help, Logan," she said softly. "Sometimes Strength isn't carrying the weight alone. It's letting others lift it with you. Logan nodded, his throat tight. I don't even know what to say. Cassie smiled, shaking her head. Don't say anything. Just take it. That's all you need. The other women had already begun helping, some preparing hot food, others setting up a small cot inside the covered van that served as a mobile shelter. Their movements were synchronized, almost like a dance, each woman knowing exactly what the other would do next. Logan's son tugged at his father's sleeve. Dad, do you think they'll stay? Logan looked up at Cassie and her crew. I think they already did. The rain began to ease entirely, sunlight peeking through grey clouds, shining on chrome, leather, and a little hope growing in Logan's heart. But while safety had arrived, Logan knew that tomorrow would bring its own challenges. Challenges that money, pride, and stubbornness couldn't fix alone. And the lessons these 20 women were about to teach him would test his courage in ways he hadn't imagined. By late afternoon, the rain had stopped completely, leaving dry creek streets glistening under the weak sunlight. The lot behind Horizon Bank had transformed into a small haven. Tarps hung from nearby lampposts, blankets were draped across crates, and a portable heater hummed quietly. The little boy sat cross-legged on one of the crates, munching on a sandwich Cassie had handed him, while Logan leaned against a wall, taking in the surreal scene. The 20 women bikers had spread out, some chatting with the boy, others quietly inspecting the lot, ensuring every corner was safe. Their movements weren't just efficient, they carried a sense of ownership, protection, and empathy. Cassie approached Logan with a clipboard in hand. We can't just leave you here without a plan, she said. Her voice was calm but firm, the kind of tone that made hesitation seem unnecessary. So here's what we're thinking: temporary shelter tonight, groceries for the week, and a small fund to cover bills until we get a more permanent solution. Logan shook his head. I can't. I don't want to rely on strangers. I've been on my own since the Marines, and Cassie held up a hand. You were on your own. But not anymore. And this isn't about charity. It's about human decency. One of the bikers, a woman with short-cropped hair and arms like steel, added, We've got people who know how to handle this. Housing, food, childcare if you need it. You just show up, and we'll make sure it's taken care of. Logan finally exhaled, a mixture of relief and disbelief. I don't know what to say. Cassie smiled softly. Say nothing. Just do one thing, trust us for tonight. As the evening approached, the crew began to bond with Logan and his son. They shared stories of their rides, challenges in life, and the strength they'd built along the road. For Logan, who had been numb for months, the warmth of these women, fierce yet compassionate, was almost overwhelming. The little boy tugged at Cassie's jacket. Do you ride Harleys too? Cassie knelt, smiling. I do. Want to see? The boy's eyes lit up, and before long, he was on a small, parked bike with another biker guiding him. Laughter rang out, something Logan hadn't heard in months, the sound almost alien in its happiness. Logan watched them, silent, realizing something. I've been so used to surviving, I forgot what it feels like to live. Cassie overheard and placed a hand on his shoulder. Living isn't just about making it through the day, Logan. It's about finding people who'll ride with you through the storm. Her words lingered, heavy but comforting. Logan felt a knot in his chest loosen, a seed of hope taking root. Later, they gathered around a small table near the vans. Cassie laid out a simple plan for the week, bills covered, meals coordinated, and potential work opportunities lined up. Each woman contributed, offering their skills, some with legal advice, some with business connections, others with childcare tips. You're not alone in this, Cassie said, looking each woman in the eye before turning to Logan. You'll have us. Not because we have to, but because we choose to. Logan's voice cracked. I never thought anyone would care like this. Ever. One biker, leaning back on her Harley, smirked. Kid, that's the beauty of the road. You help someone, you don't ask for anything. But the universe has a way of returning the favor. Sometimes, in the form of 20 women on Harleys. Laughter rippled through the lot. Even Logan allowed a small smile. The fear that had haunted him for months was slowly replaced by a sense of belonging, protection, and courage. But the world outside this haven had its own rules, bills, bureaucracy, pride, and judgment. Logan knew that tonight's safety was temporary, and the next challenge would test not just his survival, but his heart. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the cracks of Horizon Bank's boarded-up windows, casting long shadows across the lot. For Logan, the first full night of safety had felt surreal. He woke to the sound of laughter, the little boy playing with one of the bikers, who had fashioned a makeshift toy from a cardboard box, and the faint smell of strong coffee brewing in the corner. But safety, Logan quickly realized, was fragile. A black SUV rolled slowly past the lot, windows tinted, its presence deliberate. The vehicle paused at the edge of the street, and a man in a suit stepped out, scanning the bikers, the vans, and finally landing on Logan. "You Hayes?" the man called, voice sharp, clipped. Logan instinctively stepped in front of his son. "Yeah, what do you want?" The man smirked. "I'm from the bank. You're behind on payments. The lot, the bills, we want our money." Logan's stomach tightened. I told you, I don't have it." The man's smirk turned cold. "Then you're risking more than debt. That boy of yours, this lot won't protect you forever." Cassie emerged from the van, black leather jacket shining under the sun. Her eyes narrowed, calm but fierce. "You're talking to us now. Step back." The man laughed, unbothered. "And who are you? Some biker gang playing social workers? You can't change the rules of business, lady." Cassie didn't flinch. Behind her, her 20-strong crew fanned out, forming a line of silent power, women who had faced storms, engines, roads, and now, threats. Their eyes were like steel, unflinching, unwavering. One of the bikers stepped forward. "The only rules we follow are loyalty and justice. Try anything, and you'll see how we handle it." Logan swallowed, heart hammering. "Cassie, maybe I should." "No," Cassie interrupted firmly. "You stay. This is ours to fix." The man in the suit tried to approach, but the ground seemed to shift beneath him as engines revved lightly, a subtle but unmistakable threat. "You think threatening a Marine single dad is smart?" one biker asked coldly. "You have no idea who you're messing with." The man's smirk faltered. He glanced at the 20 riders, the coordinated stance, the sheer aura of authority and protection. He hesitated, realizing that this wasn't about guns or law, this was about heart, loyalty, and raw courage. Finally, he muttered, This isn't over," and returned to his SUV, slamming the door. The tires squealed as he sped away. Cassie exhaled slowly, finally allowing herself a hint of relief. "See, Logan? The world will test you. But sometimes, the right kind of family, even if it rides on two wheels, shows up just in time." Logan nodded, feeling a surge of gratitude and humility. I can't believe you all came. For me. For him." He gestured to his son. "For us." One of the bikers crouched beside the boy, ruffling his hair. "Kid, sometimes help comes from the most unexpected roads. You just gotta be willing to accept it." Logan watched the women move efficiently, securing the lot, reinforcing the temporary shelter, and coordinating the next steps for his recovery. Each motion, each word, each gesture reminded him that courage wasn't always about fighting alone. Sometimes, it was about trusting others to ride with you. And as the sun climbed higher, illuminating the chrome and leather, Logan realized something profound. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was being saved, and shown a life worth living. By mid-afternoon, the lot behind Horizon Bank had transformed into something extraordinary. Makeshift tarps and blankets had been rearranged into a comfortable space. A small table held sandwiches, fruit, and hot coffee. The little boy ran around, laughter echoing off the boarded-up walls, while Logan sat quietly, watching the chaos with a mixture of awe and disbelief. Cassie Torres approached, clipboard in hand, her hair damp from the earlier drizzle. "Logan, we've mapped out the next week. Bills are covered, food is delivered, and there's even a place lined up for you to stay temporarily while we sort out a more permanent solution." Logan shook his head. I don't know how to repay you all. You're saving me and him, and I can't even. Cassie cut him off gently. "You don't need to repay us. You need to do one thing, stand up for yourself and your son. That's the only thing that matters." Over the next hours, the bikers worked tirelessly, showing Logan skills he hadn't realized he'd lost. They taught him to organize, to plan ahead, and to take small but meaningful actions. One biker, Lena, helped him sort through overdue bills, calling creditors and negotiating deadlines. Another, Maya, guided him in setting up a schedule for his son, balancing playtime and education. Logan began to feel something he hadn't in months: control. For the first time, he realized he could manage his life, not just survive it. "You see," Cassie said as she handed him a form for temporary housing. "You've got the strength, Logan. You just needed a reminder." He nodded slowly, the weight of hopelessness lifting slightly from his shoulders. I forgot how that feels. To have hope." His son ran up, holding a small makeshift flag the bikers had crafted from scraps of fabric. "Dad, look. It's our flag." Logan smiled genuinely, a rare sight these days. "It's perfect." He looked at Cassie and her crew. "Thank you, all of you. You gave me more than shelter. You gave me a chance." Cassie shook her head. "You earned it. We just made sure the world caught up to you." The women exchanged smiles among themselves. They had saved many lives before, but Logan's transformation was particularly remarkable. A Marine, a single dad, on the verge of collapse, and now, standing taller than he had in years. Later, Logan and his son watched as the bikers prepared to leave. Engines roared, leather jackets glinting in the sunlight. Logan felt a pang of sadness. These women had become family in a matter of hours. Cassie walked up to him one last time. "Remember, Logan, it's not about us. It's about the choices you make now. Protect your son, stand tall, and never be afraid to accept help when it comes." He nodded, voice thick with emotion. "I will. I promise." The engines revved, the bikers mounted, and in a symphony of chrome and courage, they rolled out, leaving Logan and his son safe, fed, and filled with hope. For the first time in months, Logan felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: freedom, family, and the power to fight forward. The sun was beginning its slow descent over Dry Creek, painting the streets in amber and gold. Logan and his son stood in the lot behind Horizon Bank, watching the 20 women bikers prepare to leave. Their engines purred like a collective heartbeat, a rhythm of strength and loyalty that filled the quiet street. Cassie Torres mounted her Harley first, helmet under one arm, eyes scanning the scene with a mixture of pride and determination. One by one, her crew followed, each biker a pillar of courage and resilience, women who had faced countless storms yet chose to fight for someone else's hope today. Logan felt a lump in his throat. I don't even know what to say," he whispered. Cassie leaned down slightly, voice calm but firm. "Don't say anything, Logan. Just live. Take what you've learned, protect your son, and keep moving forward. That's all the thanks we need." The little boy waved frantically, grinning. "Bye. Come back soon." One of the bikers leaned down, placing a hand gently on his shoulder. "We'll always be out there, kid. Ride safe, grow strong, and never forget you're worth fighting for." Logan watched as the convoy rolled out of Dry Creek, engines rumbling and dust swirling in their wake. The roar faded slowly, leaving a quiet sense of peace behind. For the first time in what felt like forever, he realized he wasn't alone. He never would be again. He hugged his son tightly. "We're going to be okay, buddy. Really okay." The boy smiled against his father's chest. "I knew they were real, Dad. I knew someone would come." Logan nodded, looking at the lot, at the trail of chrome disappearing down the highway, and whispered, "Yeah, they were real. And so is hope." The sun had dipped lower, painting the horizon in streaks of orange and gold, while the lot behind Horizon Bank hummed with the faint echo of earlier chaos. Logan sat on a crate beside his son, the temporary shelter secured and the last of the bikers' supplies neatly stacked. The air was quiet, almost impossibly so, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, a low, distant rumble reached their ears. Logan's chest tightened. Was it another threat? Had the bank or some other enforcer returned to intimidate him? Then, through the haze of dust and late sunlight, he saw it, the unmistakable silhouettes of 20 Harleys rolling slowly down the road. Engines purred like a heartbeat. The bikers weren't here for confrontation this time. They were circling back, a silent assurance that the world hadn't abandoned him. Cassie Torres emerged from the lead bike, rain slicker glinting in the golden light. She dismounted, helmet tucked under her arm, and smiled. "Thought we'd make sure our work stuck." The bikers fanned out, each standing strong and protective, a living testament to loyalty, courage, and the kind of strength Logan had never fully known until today. Logan felt tears prick his eyes. I don't even know how to thank you all." Cassie shook her head. "You don't need to thank us, Logan. You already earned it. Everything you do from this moment on, taking care of your son, standing tall, rebuilding your life, that's all the thanks we need." The little boy ran up and hugged Cassie tightly. "Thank you. Thank you for helping us." Cassie knelt down to his level. "Hey, little man, the world can be tough. But courage is something you carry in your heart. Remember that." Logan stepped forward, placing his hand on his son's shoulder. "We won't forget this. We won't forget any of you." Cassie smiled softly. "Good. That's the lesson. Sometimes, it takes a village. Sometimes, it takes 20 leather jackets riding into your life to remind you that family isn't always about blood, it's about loyalty, protection, and standing up for each other." The bikers mounted their Harleys again, engines rumbling in harmony. One by one, they rolled down the street, leaving a trail of dust, sun glinting off chrome, and a profound sense of hope behind. Logan watched them disappear, then turned to his son. "We're okay now, buddy. Really okay." The boy's eyes shone with innocence and trust. "I knew help would come. I just didn't know it would be this amazing." Logan smiled, breathing deeply for the first time in months. "It's real, son. Real as anything. And so is the future we're going to build together." For a brief moment, standing in the golden light with the little boy at his side, Logan understood the full weight of what had happened. He hadn't just been saved from financial ruin or danger. He had been shown that kindness, loyalty, and courage could change lives. That family could be found where he least expected it. That hope was always worth fighting for. True strength is not just surviving the storm, but letting others ride through it with you. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, can ripple into life-saving courage. Family isn't always defined by blood. It's built by loyalty, protection, and love in action. The bravest hearts are those willing to accept help when needed and to rise again. And sometimes, it takes a fearless group, or 20 Harleys, to remind us that hope, courage, and unity can overcome even the darkest days.